Okay, so we're gonna be looking at what pre-release Cyberpunk had in the game, what they didn't, what got cut out, what got added, things like that. What was different basically from the released version, and this is going to be a 7-minute video, and then we're gonna look at a document that also has more stuff because this is the video. It's like only covers some things. The document is being updated constantly, so it has newer things as far as I know. So we're gonna be looking at those two, and both things.
I've got a funny story for you today. CD Projekt Red went gold with Cyberpunk 2077 on October 5th, 2020.
Going gold means that they put the game into the CDs to release.
It involves finalizing the build that'll actually be printed to the physical media that then ships out to stores and online distribution channels. Usually, in modern day, the version of the game on the disc isn't necessarily the version of the game that the developers intend you to play due to
because of the day one patch.
Patches. However, Cyberpunk is a very special example. It went gold in October, early October, and the game didn't actually release to the public until December, right? 10th, 2020. This is a roundabout way of saying that the version of the game that you actually purchase is over 2 months old. Because of this practice, it's actually quite common for games that are shipped on disc like that to not be fully functional, to require the day one patch in order to be able to boot. This is because
technically it should be
launch a game that was actually
because you cannot just
version they had on launch day.
Not everyone has any connection all the time, or a good one,
and cut content that isn't intended for the end user to play.
Technically it should be finished, but
so you can
gaming industry in 2021
is playable with its gone gold version on disc by deleting any resources related to that
only
game
on consoles though
in question, disconnecting it from the internet and installing the game directly from the disc and attempting to boot it. Doing so for Cyberpunk launches a version of the game literally months older.
Look at that, the UI is different.
In December of 2020, to the point where big chunks of cut features, many more bugs, very unfinished content that was finished on day one is on display in fully playable fashion. I've only spent a couple of hours playing this build that is estimated to actually be from late September of 2020. This was back when the launch day was originally November 19th, but was delayed again after CDPR had announced that they had gone gold in order to make sure that that day one patch fixed a lot of the issues that are obvious for anybody attempting to play this version. Some interesting finds that I was able to take a look at within the first few hours of the game include every street vendor that looks like they're supposed to be selling things are actually selling things. They're actually vendors. The player has the ability to inspect every 3D model for each of the items in their inventory.
Why is that on in the fucking game?
It's actually completely three-dimensional. The version of the free look map seen within the retail version of the game was at once the only map you had, and in September or October of 2020 was still the main map within the game. This version of the map actually takes into consideration vertical travel. So placing a waypoint marker on the top of the building,
why is this thing not in the fucking game?
The player will need to travel in order to get to it. This map also allows players to place waypoint markers on areas of the world space that are not accessible to the player in the final game, such as the floating forest casino island. This also means that you need to play a console version of the game from before the
Why did they remove so many cool things?
Version of the game that has been
those things should be in the fucking game right now. Why?
Caused legitimate lawsuits to go forward.
The fucking inspecting weapons, it's fucking cool and it looked like it worked.
PC alone and feel as if the game
the vendors.
Unfortunately buried.
Goddamn the vendors. I hate it like they just stay there and do nothing in the current version.
Actual sparks of brilliance seen all throughout the game's quest design, specifically in the side quests. This whole situation of playing through a build
oh my god, the UI. Okay, now that's unfinished.
Disc makes me feel very sorry for most developers at CD Projekt Red. I've been working on a large research project related to the alleged future of the company in the face of this big failure. One of the questions I've been aiming to answer is exactly why did they force themselves to ship when they did? Because even with the day one patch, the game obviously needed another year.
Because the executives forced them, not the developers.
Other story. Massive pieces of content that are finished technically in the final released build of the game are completely unpolished and unfinished in this version. The sound effects are completely different throughout the entirety of the UI. Perks are rearranged and some perks are missing entirely. The entire inventory system needed another once-over and got it in these few months. The UI separates heavy weapons and handguns. The UI has a lot of custom silencers and suppressors aside from just the one silencer. All bucket icons, meaning the icons on the objects within your inventory, are either early, unfinished, glitched, or missing. The 3D avatar for all phone calls lacks any animation and in some cases won't load at all. They were unfinished and they pressed this version of the game to disk. I have no idea why. But
it wasn't finished and they released that version in December too.
CD Projekt Red has heads down, not talking about anything as to not lead people on the wrong road if they have to change things further down the line in development, working on the expansions, the free DLC, patch 1.3, and the next generation patch, which I'm sure is going to be called Cyberpunk.
I hope it comes out soon. I want to play it. I want to finish it.
In order to meet
I played the game until like a certain point, but I didn't finish it because I want to finish it once. Like the game is complete. It's not
certification that likely should have been a bit deeper, but certification nonetheless. It's not unlikely to assume that some of the features that were cut for purely optimization reasons, such as the three-dimensional map, the
asserting dominance
calculation, and the vendors throughout the entirety of Night City, could very well find themselves in a future patch or within the expansions or enhanced editions. So I'm trying to find as much as I can within this build. There is a channel on my Discord server dedicated to CD Projekt Red where I would like to have anybody with a physical hard copy of the game help me look. All you have to do is disconnect your console from the internet and install a fresh copy of the game straight from disk and don't allow it to update. The version of the game that launches is from September and it's obvious. I would love to be able to document any features that are cut from the final game that may make their way back to the enhanced editions, expansions, or free DLC in the near future, announced to be at least known about before the end of the year. There is a lot more that I have been diligently researching for weeks and plan to talk about related to the future, present, and past of CD Projekt Red, The Witcher series, and Cyberpunk 2077. So get subscribed if you are interested in any of those topics. Anyways, that's it from me. This is Tyler McVicker signing off. Have a good day. Adios.
So now we're gonna look at the document, which is this one. It's a cut or remove content, not unfinished, to the changes to the game in the state. So we have inventory preview, which we saw in the video, the free look map, which we saw once again with the 3D, which was like completely 3D, and you will, which is look everywhere. With the vertical distance waypoint, yeah, we saw that. Main remove point on map legend, special delivery, and traveling vendor. What? Techie, no idea what that is, but traveling vendors would actually be cool. Like, having, instead of having these fixed vendors to buy stuff, you just have to like find them in the city. A special delivery, that seems like either the type of missions in which you just take car and deliver, but which are in the game, but with another icon, or maybe a whole new different set of missions that they just never released. Samurai tour dates. Oh yeah, that's what I noticed when I was looking at the start of the video, that the UI looked different. Job items. Crafting and upgrading can be done in combat. Yeah, but I think it's good that they removed that. It kind of forces you to just, do what, just deal with it. You started the fight, well, now you must end it before you can just go around and change. Like, it makes sense. In the middle of a fight, you're not going to be, just disassembling your weapon and then assemble it back. It doesn't make sense. So I think that's good. I'm getting only iconic items. Also, you can only upgrade iconic items? That's weird. The vendor sales items, that's so... I hate that they fucking remove that, dude. Like, it just feels so empty. Now you just see the vendor just sitting there. And you just cannot interact with them, like, at all. It reminds me of GTA. That annoys me. Oh yeah, the Gorilla Arms Rip Doors. That's the... I remember, I use a mod for that, actually. But yeah, Gorilla Arms in the current game, they just for punching and stuff in the original, you were allowed to just bypass the whole body stat, for opening doors or for scaring people. One egg, okay. Recon scope on pistols. Well, I mean I think that's weird. It's basically having like a fucking sniper scope in a pistol. Okay, well that's it. I mean, there isn't much, but like I said, this game, Cyberpunk, I am actually playing right now. I've been playing for a long time. It's a really fun game, and I love just how it allows you to just invent your own stories, do your own stuff. It's an RPG at the end of the day. At the end of the day, of course, I have it completely fucking modded. 58 mods downloaded and installed. The game is weird. It's just like when you play it, you're gonna notice things that you know that they were there, or that the developers thought about it and they were going to implement it, but they never did. You also notice like a lot of things, like the details to some of the stuff that they did is stupidly fucking incredible. Which it tells me that if the game had more time, it would have been it would have maybe even achieved what people thought it would be. This game that would change RPGs, that would change gaming. It could have fucking been like, just look at the fucking details. Just something as basic as the small fucking stickers on the walls, on cars, on something. Those things are fucking 4K. You can perfectly fucking read those things. How is it that they have that, but they don't have basic things as a police system? Which tells me that they planned this to be a huge fucking game, and they were going to do it. They just got forced to release it before it was done. Like, tells me the developers really wanted to make this, the game. But because of how it got released, not even if it did, kind of like the No Man's Sky thing, not even if it did that, I just don't think it will ever reach that point of the game that is better than every other fucking game, which could have easily achieved that title if they would have released it later. I really just hope that they do it really fucking well, that they fix everything. They had a lot of stuff, they had a shit ton of because this is a game that has a lot of potential. At the end of the day, even if they even add shit, we all know that with the modding community, this game's just gonna continue for years. It's gonna be like, this is gonna be the next fucking Skyrim, basically. It's when it comes to modding, and just quote me on it, alright, if you want it. In the next years, this game is gonna become the next, basically like GTA 5. When it comes to these custom servers and mods, with shit ton of mods for a lot of different type of gameplays. Like for example, GTA 5, it has zombie survival mode, mods, and it has LSPD 5, which is basically allows you to play as a police officer. You had GTA RP with all of their mods. You keep in mind that GTA 5 the developers don't allow modding. The developers are against modding in GTA 5, and yet the community was able to, it took them shit ton of years, sure, but they were able to develop, all of these mods and teach, each other how to mod the game, and now they're making such good fucking mods, and now we're to the point which the whole servers are, RP servers are just completely modded. You need mods to get in them, and it's what really is keeping GTA 5 alive at the end of the day. I think that Cyberpunk is gonna be the same. I think Cyberpunk is gonna be like that, but even better. Just because it's like the next version of that. Unless GTA 6 comes out and it comes out before and complete and with modding support, which I highly fucking doubt. At the end of the day, it's Rockstar. They don't like modding. But this game, since they support modding, the developers did a shit ton of stuff for modding. So I think that in the future, we're gonna see a shit ton of content from YouTubers and streamers when it comes to this game. We're gonna see a lot of people enjoying the game just because of the mods that are gonna be developed, just because the ways are gonna be many different ways that you're gonna be able to play the game, both because of the developers just updating the game and mods. Alright, well, that's it. Let's go to another thing.